Hello everyone, Sandi here. So, in today's video we're doing something a bit different. I got a request in the comments on one of my videos recently that they would love to see me do a modding video. And at first I was like, I've thought about that and I would really love to. But then I started thinking, how would I go about it? And then I started thinking, what deck should I do first? Because I've got several decks waiting to be modded. And I just decided to go for the Wisdom of the Cailleach, which is a deck that I've had for a little while now. But as you can see, it is absolutely massive. And I adore this artwork so much. And it's not like the border is bothering me too much. I just feel like getting rid of this white border will make the artwork pop so much more for me, as well as making the cards just ever so slightly smaller, making it a little bit easier for me to handle. So yeah, I can't wait to get started, but I thought I'd talk to you a little bit about how I usually mod my decks. Now, I'm sure anybody who's heard of deck modding knows about Dawn Michelle and her channel. So I'm just gonna give all the credit to her of how I mod my decks. The first time I ever wanted to mod a deck, I looked up different techniques and I found her channel and immediately just started using that same method. So basically I measure, let's first show you what I use. I use this small Fiskars guillotine. Fun fact, Fiskars is a Finnish brand from a small village here in Finland called Fiskars. So that's a new trivial knowledge for you there. So I use this ruler here as a guide for when I chop, just like Dawn Michelle. I measure out how far I want to go and then I chop every side on each card on the same before I then change the measurement and continue around the card. So let's get started, shall we? Now, I usually use a separate ruler to, excuse the clay, I've got some clay on there. I usually use a separate ruler to just measure. First I measure the whole card width. So we've got 10.5 centimeters here. And then I measure the border, which is 5 millimeters on here. So that means we need to have the ruler on number 10 for 10 centimeters. So right there, that should be enough if we don't want to cut any of the artwork away. But looking at the artwork, there's not much details around the edges. So I might actually go in. Oh, well, hang on, there's a little bit there. The width itself isn't a problem, it's the height that's a problem for me when I want to shuffle my decks. So I think we're going to start out just chopping off exactly at the artwork. I think that's the best route to go. So let's put the ruler back at exactly 10 centimeters, making sure that I've got it straight throughout. All right. It's always a bit exciting when you do the first card. Let's move these to the other side here. Oops. So that I have enough room for my arms and everything. All right. Now, I'm not used to doing this while also talking to someone. I'm usually listening to a book or watching a YouTube video or something. So, just making sure that everything looks straight. Yeah. And the first chop. Let's have a look. Yeah, that looks good. Oh, exciting. Now, when I do this as well, I make sure that I have it straight on there along this and this line. And then I push down on here, but also on the card. And then I push the lever ever so slightly towards the guillotine itself. There we go. Now this is a deck that I got straight from the creator. She's got a Facebook page where you can sign up for information regarding new printings. I think she does a one printing per year, I believe. And yeah, she is a very lovely lady. But she doesn't make very big print batches every time, so it's, if you want to get this deck, I would suggest definitely signing up for her. I think she's got a mailing list, but I'm not 100% sure. The creator's name is Jane Brideson. I will put the information down below if you're interested. I do also have a walkthrough of this deck where I read through or show you the guidebook as well, if you want to have a closer look at these cards. Alright, so with the first side is now chopped off. So the total measurement on the side should now be 10 centimeters, and that's correct. And then we can also see that this here is also 5, actually it is closer to 4 millimeters, but I think we can take 5. That would be just fine off of this side. But what I usually do is I don't, in this case, I wouldn't do this and chop this side off now. I would probably do it like this, but like you can see, this is a very large deck, so it's not large enough for me to the guillotine itself is not large enough for me to actually create a like a border, what would you call it, a kind of like a support thing here. So instead I actually do think I will trim this side off now, or actually no, what I'll do is I'll remove this now for now, because we're done with that measurement. And then we will have a look and see. Right, so this is where it gets a bit tricky. You can see here that this border here is thicker than this top one. So let's measure. That's 5 millimeters, and this one is, hang on, 3 millimeters. So we would get a larger portion of the cards off if we chopped this one first, which I should have thought of before I chopped off this border, because I wanted to get the straight edge. I used the straight edges from the factory cutting when I start out, because it would give the straightest edges if the printing is good. That is, and the original cutting is good. So in this case now, if we were to take 5 millimeters off, hang on, would it even give us enough? No, it wouldn't matter. It doesn't matter, because it wouldn't give us enough of space anyway. So that means these ends are going to have to be cut by eye, and that's going to make it it's going to make it a bit more difficult to get it perfect. But either way, I will do it the way I usually do it anyway. So what I do in that case instead, I don't know if you can see this, but I will basically line up the card so that this black line, or ever so slightly, almost lines up with this cut edge on each card, and then I will cut. I hope that makes sense. So this round is probably going to be a lot slower, just because I'm going to have to be a lot more careful when I'm cutting. Alright. Actually, one thing I will do is I will place a little, can I even see that? Hang on. This one will show up better. Alright, so you can't see it, but I can. probably. Let's see. Yeah. So this little pencil mark that I've done here now is working kind of like a guide as well, just so that I can see roughly where I've done the cut on the others. Actually, I need to redo that. Don't I have a non-permanent marker? There we go. There we are. That's a better marker. All right, let's continue then. And like you can see here now, the mark is there, but in order to actually cut so that none of the white border is existent on this one, I need to move it a little bit that way anyway, but that will sort itself out when we do the next bit. Okay, the second round is done, and you can see now that I adjusted the height a little bit. So you can see they're all a little bit uneven at the moment, and that is because I had to adjust because some of them weren't they weren't all exactly, you know, on the millimeter in the middle of the card, so to speak. So I had to adjust it, but that's no matter. We will adjust that when we cut this edge later at the end. So if we are going to aim to cut exactly here to have the same space around from the title to the edge, and if any card is bigger than what we want it to be, then we will have to cut a sliver from the top as well as from the bottom until we have the card size that we want. But now we're going to cut this side here, so we will need the ruler again. And I think we said we were going to take 5 millimeters from here as well, so that means we're going to put the ruler at 9.5, and I think that looks about right. I think we're going to have about there. Yeah. Double checking everything. And that should be it. Chop. Oh, it's looking good. It is looking good. Let's Okay, so we now have 3 of the 4 sides chopped, and now we're going for the last side. And this is the most crucial side, because this is when we end up trying to get it all straight without any guide. So let's see. Usually, I mean, a regular tarot size is easy to mod with this type of system, because then you always have that ruler there. But in this case now, again, we're gonna have to use the marker method. So let's have a little look with the ruler. I think we said this was 5 millimeters. Yes, so we want to take 5 millimeters off. And looking just from the eyes, just looking at where the edge goes here, we will try to come as close to the edge as possible. And I think we're gonna put the marker maybe now. Yeah. Perfect. Ah, here we go. There's the first card that has ever so slightly a little white sliver there. So we'll put that one to the side for now and see what we can do about it later. Alright, so here we've got a card that seems to be a little bit difficult. We will chop it as close as we can to the white border. There we go. But I suspect that this one is ever so slightly shorter than the rest of them now, which means that the other ones are going to have to join in with this one later. So I will put that one also to the side. Or rather, what we will do now is we will take away these markings. We will put these cards back to be chopped, and we will create a new guide using this smaller card. go. And if you don't want to cut into this part, you can see if there's any space on the top. In this case, I don't want to cut into her finger here, so I will cut from the bottom again. And it's just the tiniest sliver, so it's not going to be noticeable very much. Like, I could tell it cut something. There we go. That's what it cut. So it's it's the tiniest little bit, but it makes a difference when you shuffle the deck. At least it does for me. So, okay, in this case I will go on the other side actually. Okay, time to check how we did. It's not too bad actually. It's pretty gosh darn even. It's just a few of them that needs sorting out. Let's have a look. Alright, so we've got 3 piles or 4 piles here, each with different sizes in the cards. Actually, that one is still shorter than the others. How are these doing together? Yeah. So this is still on the still the shortest, even though we based the measurement off of this one. So these ones are pretty close, but still can take a sliver off. These ones are taller. But these ones are pretty close to being perfect together. So these are now the ones that are standing out from this shorter card. And I took only a sliver from each of these. So what I will do now is I'm going to go through them again and take just this tiniest sliver off and see where we end up. Now you could just as easily skip this step. It's not necessary. And now I cut myself on the guillotine. Sorry. Please don't. If you're not a fan of blood, then you should probably look away. I'm gonna grab a plaster. Hang on. Okay, we are back. We are mended. So, where were we? We are going to remeasure the shortest card. Because for some reason it didn't work the first time. I don't know what I was doing. Maybe the card slid ever so slightly. Alright. Let's try this again, shall we? And now I'll just cut a sliver off of it anywhere where I feel there is space for it. Alright, so that's not enough. Go. The trick here is to know when to stop, because it's at this stage now I probably should stop, because it's very, very easy to cut too much of a one card, and then you have to start all over again, and then eventually you're gonna run out of card if you continue like that. So when it comes to trimming larger cards like this and you don't have that support, you just need to not be as picky. And I probably shouldn't be doing this right now, but I am can't help myself. It's a challenge, and I wanna see if I can do it. So. At this point I will be checking basically every card to see if I took too much or too little. No, that's perfect. All right. I'm gonna go for this side, just because I really don't want to cut into that moon. All right, I think that will have to do with the trimming. I might, hang on, let's just have a little closer look here. As you can see, the sides that I trimmed with the guide are very, very clean and even, but the side I did with just the markings are ever so slightly uneven still, and I don't think I can get it much better than this, to be honest. No, I'm gonna stop here. Now it's time for the corner rounding, but let's just take a moment to see. Oh yes, I am so happy with this trim. That's really nice. Oh, exciting! All right, so I've got this corner rounder here, which is a Kadumaro Pro. And I bought this from a like arts and crafts store. I'm sure you can find it online in several places as well. Okay, so now we just need to decide what kind of the small one is going to be too small. It's between the large one and the medium one, and I think we'll start with medium because we can always go up to large if we need to. So yeah, for some reason maybe I want to go up to large. Hang on. No, let's stick with M. Okay, we are done with the trimming part, and now when we've corner rounded it as well, the little discrepancies in the edging on the top here is not actually that noticeable, and oh goodness, it's gorgeous, isn't it? I love it so much. Wow. Look at this. Oh, chills. All right, so now to decide if we are going to edge it or not. I kind of don't mind this one not having a color on the edges, because there's white on the back and there's the white titles on the front, so it doesn't look out of place or anything. And I don't think I want to edge it in a dark color, because then there's these whiter cards that I think it might bleed into them. So like these ones, I wouldn't want a black border to appear here now, or on this one, for example. This one is very precarious. So no, I think I'm gonna leave this one unedged in that sense. So we're done with this mod, just like that. Let's see if they shuffle any easier for me now. Then I think I might actually be able to riffle shuffle now, even though it is quite a stretch. Let's see. No, it is a little bit difficult with the bridge. Tiny hands are struggling. Tiny hands are struggling with this. Never mind. Oh, nope. Alright, so we'll still have to, well, at least I can overhand shuffle it like this now, or we will have to just continue doing the side shuffle like we've done before, because the riffle shuffling ain't gonna work with this one for me. It's too long. So, but I am in love with how this one looks. Now when it's, well, I've been in love with it with or without borders, but without the borders I just feel like it's so, I don't know, I can't really explain it. I really love the way it looks without the borders. Alright, that was the modding of the Wisdom of the Cailleach by Jane Brideson. Thank you so much for joining me for this little mod, and I hope that you enjoyed it. Please take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye!